I think it's time I tell you guys about the Tom and Jerry theory. This theory states that Tom died and he lives in a constant hell every single day. Let me tell you why. It all starts with this one episode named The Heavenly Puss, where seemingly Tom dies and an escalator to heaven appears. So he arrives and finds out that the doors to heaven are only open to people whose souls are pure. Due to the constant fighting between Tom and Jerry, Tom is denied entry to heaven and is given 1 hour to get Jerry to sign a paper that says he forgives everything Tom has ever done to him. He goes back to Earth and tries to get Jerry to sign, and ultimately he does, but it had been too late. When he tries to run back to heaven, the escalator disappears and the ground opens up and he falls into it. He falls into a pot of boiling fire and then he wakes up because it's a nightmare. A couple of episodes later though, Tom is seen re-watching that very episode. So if it was a nightmare, why was it recorded? But Maya, he's not in hell. Well, some religions suggest that hell is an endless cycle of repetition of actions that cause suffering. Well, in the next episodes, Tom is immortal. He cannot die. He gets tortured, abused, depressed. In one episode, Tom was literally sentenced to death and had his head chopped off. But then he appears after a couple minutes. Not to mention, he's also appeared in many different timelines, whether it's the past or the future, which just further shows that Tom does not die, but gets tortured and abused every single day in hell. And finally, before Tom's death, Jerry was a normal mouse. After his death, Jerry becomes a mere projection in Tom's head, as a remembrance to his friend who was once on Earth. Clearly because Jerry's taken with him to all the different eras he's thrown in. Does that make sense to you guys?